I'm off on a 3-day adventure with a couple of mates, and we're looking for a buried giant. Only 5 minutes from home, and we're already in the countryside and hitting the dirt road. Lorin and I are heading over the Waddigans to Wollombi, where we're meeting Shane, who's coming with us on the 3-day adventure, and Wendy, who's just going on the day ride with us. It's hard to believe, but this track over the back of the Waddigans used to be a main road between Cessnock and Currumbin. But it's been many years since this road's seen any attention at all, and it's fallen into disrepair. But that's great for us because it's such a good adventure. And I'm thinking this is the worst I'll see on this trip. So we dodged the odd cow, and in no time at all we're back onto the tar. And a few minutes more, we're at Wollombi. Wendy came round the roadway because she doesn't like riding on the dirt. She's going to just ride a little way until we hit the dirt again on the other side of Singleton. Shane's new to us. He's got a DR 400, very kitted out. And Lorin has an Africa Twin. We're heading here through Broke and then out the back of Singleton, where finally the dirt road will start. There's a bit of water in the Hunter River, but really the whole area is in drought. These fords usually have water flowing over them, but there's only a puddle or two on either side. It's a really pretty farming country road, with twists and turns and the odd bit of water here and there on the fords. The road then comes out into open countryside, and you can see for miles as the road snakes around the mountains. But the dirt starts again here, so we say goodbye to Wendy, have a bit of a break, and then we're on our way again. This is a well-maintained farm road, and so long as you keep out of the loose gravel on the sides and the middle, you can hook along pretty quickly. Yes, we're all loaded up because we're planning to camp for 2 nights. But all too soon, we're off the dirt and back onto the bitumen. But just as we start, I feel my trousers while jamming on the brakes to avoid the cow standing in the shadows. It wouldn't be an adventure without the odd problem. Lorin found that he picked up a roofing screw in his back tyre. So, for the very first time, he's having to change the tube in the tyre. It was a challenge breaking the bead. We had to use the side stand on my bike and virtually pull the whole weight of the bike onto the tyre to break the bead. Once that was done, the rest of the job wasn't too bad, although it did take 3 people to get the job done. But the drama's over, the tools are packed, and we're ready to start off again. Lorin diverted back into Scone to buy another tube, just in case, while we headed to Gundy and had a leisurely lunch waiting for him. Ah yes, this adventure riding stuff really is tough. Lorin eventually turned up with his new tube, so we're off on the road again. There are a few nice twisty bits just before Moon and Flat. We stop here while Lorin and I take 10 pounds out of the front and back of our tyres to just make it a little bit nicer on the dirt roads. It's surprising how much difference this makes. The bike is so much more stable and more comfortable on the dirt roads with that less pressure. We're not doing big speeds on this trip, so I'm not risking a buckled rim with the lower pressures. We're really climbing now, up towards the top of the Barrington Tops. Beautiful scenery and a nice maintained road. The dingo fence marks the start of the national park. So of course we stopped for a photo. The main road is a wide, well-maintained dirt highway, but our tour leader Lorin has decided we need to camp in the bush somewhere, so we head off down this track. I wouldn't be attempting this if I was on my own, but I've got two other blokes here that can get me out of trouble, so let's see how we go. Apart from being wet, this track is rough. It's got big rocks embedded in the dirt, and I've got to fumble and fart my way around all these bog holes. It's all very well for Shane on his DR400 and knobby tyres to just sit there and watch. But this is starting to be hard work, and I'm puffing. Still, on the other hand, it is pretty out here. Not that I've got a minute to even appreciate it. I'm fully concentrating on the road and staying alive. We're starting to head into the setting sun, and we've come to a huge line of bog holes. So it's stop, hop off the bike and see if we can find a way around it. Not really a problem for Shane and Lorin, they could just ride through the mud, but I'd get stuck right in the middle. And no one wants to push a heavy bike with road tyres through a mud bog. It looks like I can ride around it if I go bush. So here we go, I'll give it a try. Oh, by the way, notice the right hand mirror? I've already fallen twice. But none of us had the presence of mind to film it. Not that I'm complaining about that, of course. Fortunately, the two falls were basically when I was stopped and just overbalanced or got my foot caught in the shrubbery. Even my long legs weren't enough to stop the bike falling over. Very embarrassing. You can see here the type of hazards. These vines are really tough and can easily pull you off the bike if you don't notice. I'm really starting to not like this now. Although looking back on the video, it is all fun. Riding into the setting sun's not helping. Here comes a steep downhill. I've got to go very slow to avoid bottoming out. Oh well, I think that says it all. Fortunately, I don't have to pick it up on my own, but it's still a bit of a grunt.
One tick. One tick. Okay. Okay, just let go. Let go.
It continually amazes me how much using up adrenaline really fags you out. By this stage I'm really puffing. And I'm not even thinking yet that I've got to come back out this way as well tomorrow. Oh dear.
550 meters to go.
Yes, I'm looking forward to getting to the campsite. I apologise for the poor video quality here. Got dust on the lens and I'm looking into the sun. But I need to record my struggles so I can look back on it later. Masochist that I am.
Yeah, it's only 40 metres. Or a bit more. It's only just up ahead.
Yeehaw! Campsite at last. Am I glad to see you? So I put myself on fast forward and set up my tent. Yes, I know what you're thinking. It's a big, heavy tent, way too big for one person. But this is the tent I've got, and I'm not a real adventure rider. Ta-da! That didn't take too long. We've got a beaut crystal clear river right next to our campsite. So I take a simulated dip into the water. Ah, very refreshing. I'm so rooted after those few k's of riding in here, I can hardly stagger back to my chair next to the fire. We're at 1246 metres here, so it might be a bit chilly tonight. While I stagger around like a heart attack victim, the boys get the fire going. Absolutely nothing beats a fire on a campsite. So it's my favourite for dinner. 2-minute noodles, sausage and cheese. Day 2 dawns quite cool. Ice crystals and the puddles about half iced up. So it's nice hot porridge for breakfast. But Lorin, the complete idiot, decided to go for a swim. Urgh. But we don't hang about for too long. By 8 o'clock, we're on the road again. Or should I say, pant-wetting, steep, uphill, rocky track to get back out onto the main track. I don't mind saying I'm just a little concerned. But it's no use being tentative, so I think positive thoughts and just go for it. Of course, the GoPro doesn't show how steep the hill is, or how rocky. But I'm up on the pegs, I've got the power nice and even, and I'm looking ahead, just like a proper pro. And I surprised myself to find that I got up the hill without any problems whatsoever. Well, that's a relief. I got here okay, so I should be able to get out the rest of the way. And as it turns out, I didn't fall off again. Bonus. Ah, proper dirt roads. At least I can enjoy it now. My Honda NC750X handles this stuff beautifully, and I can relax. It's today that we search for the giant. He's rumoured to be buried somewhere around here, and we go around in a couple of circles looking. Lorin reckons this is the place, so we dismount and trek into the unknown, looking for the buried giant. I didn't know what to expect. The giant's certainly buried, but not all of him. Over the years, the dirt has eroded away, and part of him stands proud. Now you've got to say, that's a splendid erection. Okay, pick the biggest knob. Our quest is completed. But while we're here, we may as well do a bit more sightseeing. Again, our fearless tour leader Lorin reckons there's probably a waterfall up here, so we scramble over these rocks, hoping he might be right. Shame on me for doubting him. What a beautiful little place. It'd be a great place for a swim if it wasn't so frigid. But we're off on the road again because we're heading for Nundle tonight. I'm really enjoying these tracks. Hang on. Bloody Lorin. He's led us into the gnarly stuff again. Fortunately, after only a few minutes, the track starts to improve again, and I can breathe. I even take a moment to look around and enjoy the scenery. I love being out here, where there's no one else for miles. And I certainly can't complain about the weather. A river crossing. This is no problem. I can just ride straight through this. You don't see it on the camera, but I almost come off right there. Overconfidence is a terrible thing. We're coming out of the national park into farmland now. Our dirt riding is almost over for today. For those who are interested, this is the beginning of the Hunter River. Hunter Springs. We're still pretty high up here, but as we ride down the mountain we get these fantastic glimpses out in front and beside us. We stopped for lunch by the river, but oh look!
Very impressive. So where have you been? Hey boy? Or girl? Oh, righto. Good dog, eh? Very nice.
Oh dear, the second puncher for the trip, and it couldn't have happened to a nicer bloke. Fortunately, Shane's an expert at this sort of thing and quickly goes about repairing it. And you've got to love the 12-volt mini compressor. What the hell am I doing standing knee-deep in water?
I might have had to walk in the water because I dropped my camera in it like an idiot.
Your socks a little damp?
Yeah, a little damn.
You might want to get a fresh pair of time on the back of your bike.
Well, guess who forgot to bring a fresh pair?
Oh, I've probably got a spare.
I'll just have to soldier on because I'm a real man.
Tough, eh?
So we had lunch and then moved off, heading towards Nundle. We're riding past Alliston and then on the Barry Way and up to the back of Nundle. It is certainly dry out here. But it's fantastic riding. There are sections of wide open plains and then it heads up into the hills and then back out into wide open spaces again. I'm really loving this stuff. The sign says 20 creek crossings, but almost all of them are completely dry. It'd be a bit of a challenge trying to get through here in wet weather. Even so, my confidence is building and I motor through this stuff without any problems at all. We're heading into the sun again, but it's still relatively early, so it's not a problem this time. We're at Hanging Rock, almost to Nundle, and so we pop into Sheba Dam to just have a look at the free campsite. We're not camping here, we're going to luxuriate at the caravan park at Nundle tonight. But it'd be a good place to stay. So the hamlet of Hanging Rock has a hanging rock, so we go and have a look. This looks down over the township of Nundle. We're staying here tonight and eating in the pub, pure luxury. So it doesn't take us too long to set up our tents. and then stagger over to the pub for a little drinky poo. Day 3 dawns just a little bit chilly. It's minus 0.1 degree. But because we're tough and we're real men, we don't care. So we head off into the cold, crisp morning, heading for home. But there's still adventure to be had. We're heading over to the Thunderbolts Way and then down to Nowandock. We turn off into Nowandock and then head from there across towards Wingham and Taree. This is an excellent dirt road. It's got everything from tight, windy mountain sections and then vast open plains with sweeping corners. Is this fun or what? Even a couple of little creeks with some water in it. Very pleasant. So why not act like a young person and take a selfie? Another little creek. It's tempting to just stop at one of these places and spend another night. But unfortunately, I'm not retired yet. And also, I've got to get home to my riding buddy who didn't come with us on this trip. Which, given some of the extremes that we had to ride through, it's just as well. Not that I'm blaming our tour guide Lorin. He's done a great job of putting this ride together. No highway whatsoever, and lots of interesting country roads, winding bitumen, and butte dirt roads as well. But there's no time for complacency, because the locals are out and they're just as likely to jump in front of you as walk away. But we're almost to Gloucester, so we stop for a short break, looking over towards the buckets. This is the end of the video. It's been a fantastic 3 days away, and thanks to Lorin and Shane for helping me through the rough stuff. A successful quest and adventure.